Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today I have a special bonus block for you. This is bonus block number 1 in the Christmas Basket Quilt project, and this is an applique block. And here is the block that I made, and I think this turned out really well. I used 3 different fabrics in this one as opposed to the original block. I used 4 different fabrics, so mix and match your fabrics, use how many you want, how few you want, just do this however you want. So I hope you'll stay with me and I'll show you how to make this block. Okay, so today we're going to work on the first bonus block, and this is an applique block that I made, and this is made from the snowed in fabric line. And so today I'm going to make it with the Marche de Noel fabric line, so it's going to look different, but all of the pieces for the appliques are on my blog, and there is a link in the description box where you can go get those. And let me show you the pattern. Here is my drawing here of the layout, and then there will be also a drawing that has just the individual pieces so that you can arrange them on your fabric so that they will fit well. So, and then written on there is how many pieces that you need. So just use whatever colors you want, and you don't need to worry about following the colors that I'm using. Just use what you want. So for my background piece, I cut a piece that is 11.5 inches, so that it's an inch longer than what it's going to be in the end. I'm going to give myself some extra space in case this block shrinks as I'm putting on the applique. So you can see now there's a crease in here. There was I need to get that out, so I'm going to turn on my iron and get that warmed up, and then I'll get that crease out. And if you look at the block here that's already made, we've got objects going from corner to corner and going right through the center. So once I get this iron flat, I'm going to fold the background fabric and then iron in some creases for guidelines for me. And if you don't want to crease your fabric, you can draw lines with a water soluble or air soluble pen, or whatever you like to use, a friction pen, whatever you like, and then that will help you position your shapes. So the fabrics that I chose for this block are right here. I've got a green, I've got a red, and I've got a blue, and you can use as many colors as you want. You can see on here I used a green, a red, a teal, and a black. This fabric line here doesn't come with a black, so I'm using different colors instead. And I believe I marked, for this one I marked the colors that I wanted to use. There's the teal here and the red here, so I marked that. So if you want to do that on your own fabric, you can certainly do that. And to trace the pieces is really fairly easy. If you have a light box, that will help. If you don't, you can use a window that's lit by the sun, or like what I did was I just took my fusible web and laid it on top of my drawing, and it turned out I was able to see it real well. And I outlined it first with a Sharpie marker. Now the fusible that I'm using is Steam-A-Seam 2 Light, and you can use, this is a pressure sensitive fusible. I also like Easy Steam 2 Light, and but this is what I had on hand, so I'm using the Steam-A-Seam 2 Light, or Light Steam-A-Seam 2. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is. I don't have the package anymore. And I traced out all of the pieces that I needed, and then I marked here what colors I want. I want the circles red, I want the flower fronts blue, and the centers of the flowers are going to be red, and those flowers are going to be blue, and this big flower is going to be red. So that way I already know what I want to do. And then of course these will be green. These are the leaves, so they'll be green. So I basically just need to cut out the pieces and lay them on the pieces of fabric on the wrong side. But let me press this first, see if I can get that crease out. So first thing I'm going to do is fold this in half. And I'm not going to press really deep creases in here. I'm just going to do a quick press so that I can see them. And then go this direction. And then I need to go diagonal from corner to corner. So I'm going to do that. Move it so it all fits on my mat. And then do the other diagonal. And this has enough room in it so I can trim it down when I'm done and everything will be nice and square. Okay, so that's all ready to go. So now I can see all the creases in it. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there are creases in there. So I can see them side to side and corner to corner. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside, and now I need to work on the fusibles. So here are my shapes. I traced those just with a number 2 pencil, and I have my fabric pieces here. And the first thing I'm going to do is do the red. So I'm going to move those out of the way. Okay. So these are red, and this is red, and that is red, and all of these are red here. This is also red, and that little piece there. So I just need to cut off, for right now, I'm going to cut off these pieces that say blue, making sure I'm leaving a little space around them. Okay, I'm going to save my blue pieces for another time, and I'm going to trim these down so that they will not waste space on my fabric. Okay, so you know, I can't just lay that down and infuse it because it's not all going to fit that way, but I can get like all of this in there. Most of that will fit. So that will fit. Got a couple of my reds there. Okay, now what I'm wanting to make certain is that I don't have any of the fusible over the edge of the fabric. I want it all on the fabric. Okay, and then you just need to follow your manufacturer's instructions for how to do this. So I'm going to peel off this backing paper and then lay this down. Okay, and then I'm just going to press. I don't need to press this with the iron at this point. And then I do the same with each piece. Just put it in place and make sure the sticky is on the part you're putting on the fabric. And I'm going to trim this down a little bit. And I like this type of fusible because I can rearrange things before I make them permanent, and yet they will stay in place and not fall off. So that's why I like this fusible. When you get to the part where you need to make the stems, you can do a couple of things. One thing you do is make bias tape stems using a bias tape maker. What I'm going to do, since I'm doing fusible, is I'm going to I have a piece of fusible on the back side of the green, and I'm going to cut 1/4 inch strips. I'm going to trim this down a little bit, make sure I have fusible at the very edge. So I'm going to trim this off. And I'm going to do that on all the sides. Just cutting a tiny bit of the fusible off. Okay. And now I'm going to cut 1/4 inch strips. So you can do this however you want. I'm going to go ahead and kind of go this way so I don't have to move anything. And I need 1, 2, 3, I need 4 for this block, and I cut 5, so I have plenty here. And I'll save these. I may need the same color for another block, so I'm going to save that. So now I'm ready to put the applique on the block. So let's show you how I do that. Okay, here's my background fabric, and I'm going to turn it right sides up. And I went ahead and I traced this outline with Sharpie marker so it's dark and I can see it easier. And I'm going to put this under my applique. And I'm going to go ahead and put, I can't see that very well. I've got this piece of, as a circle I cut out of cardstock. See, now I can see. I don't know if you can tell that, but I can. So I'm going to center this, and I'm just going by where all these seams or all these creases are, and make sure everything is coming out at the corners right. And then I'm going to pin this all down so it won't shift. So I'm just going to place a couple pins through the fabric and into the pattern. And trying to keep it out of the places where I'm going to put the applique. Okay, so now I can start, and I'm going to start with my stems. So I've got my stem pieces here, and I'm just going to trim them down as I go. I know one's going to go right here, and it needs to be about that long, so I'm going to trim off this. And then I'm going to peel back the paper and press it into place. One thing, when you're cutting these out, if you find out that this fusible wants to keep picking up off of your fabric, you can run a warm iron on it just really quick. So I want this to lay underneath this applique in the center and this one here and the leaves, so that's why I'm putting this down first. And I'm making sure I have enough that's running underneath all of those shapes. So I'm going to do the same to this one. And you can see I'm not measuring it with a ruler, I'm just judging it to make sure it's going to fit underneath all of my pieces. Okay, got all my stems in place. So now I want to do my big flower in the center. And this flower is made in layers. So it's got the red, the blue, and then it has a red center. Okay. So that one's going to layer like that. So I can layer it now and then put it on, or I can layer it after I get the bottom one on. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, this is how this is going to look. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start layering this. So here's the center of this, and I'm just kind of placing it as close to the center as I can. Just press that down. Okay, and I'm going to take the paper off of this flower. Okay, and I'm kind of lining up these edges, these dips, trying to line those up. So this is all ready to go. And I'm going to peel the paper off the back of the big one. It's not sticking very well. Okay. And here I'm able to adjust it as I need to. There we go. And then put this flower on. Now this isn't very sticky. But it's sticky enough it's going to hold. So I have that much done. And now I can do these flowers here. There's no particular order you need to do this, other than you need to do the things that are on the bottom first, you know, and then layer them up. So put that flower down and then put a center in it. Okay, so now I've got that all done, and I'm going to go ahead and take the pins out because I want to press this, and I want to get the paper out from underneath it before I press it. So follow the manufacturer's instructions for the fusible that you're using for how to press it, and usually they say to put a pressing cloth over the top and use steam, but follow the manufacturer's instructions so that you have a nice job done for you. So I'm going to grab, I have a piece of muslin here I'm going to lay on the top, and I'm going to heat my iron up and turn on the steam. and then I'll just press it according to the instructions, and then I'll be ready to do the embroidery work on, or you can just leave it as it is. But let me press this and then I'll show you the block in detail. Here we have the completed block. I think that turned out pretty well. I'm real happy with that. And here's the block from the other fabric, and you can see how different that is. Just different fabrics make them look different. So we've got the brighter colors on a white background, and we have muted colors on a cream background. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on the first bonus block in the Christmas Basket Quilt, and I think this turned out really well. I'm real happy with it, and there'll be 3 more bonus blocks coming up later on in the series, and so I hope you stay with me. I think this is an interesting quilt, and you'll learn a lot about how basket blocks go together. So if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button and share the video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.